Imagine the sound, the deep, rumbling roar of a 57-ton engine followed by the terrifying crack of an 88mm gun. The moment the Tiger tank appeared on the battlefield, it struck cold fear into every Allied soldier. The Tiger was more than a tank. It was a legend, a symbol of German invincibility. Propaganda on both sides amplified this myth. For the Germans, it was proof of their technological supremacy. For the Allies, it was the monster they needed to justify their losses. But the legend, as history often proves, rarely survives reality. The Tiger was slow, mechanically flawed, immensely expensive, and arguably one of the biggest logistical disasters of the war. So was the Tiger truly the ultimate predator? Or was it a logistical Achilles' heel that consumed resources Germany couldn't spare? Let's put this myth under the microscope. We have to start with the core truth. The Tiger wasn't designed for mass production. It was designed for technological dominance. It was conceived in response to the shocking appearance of the Soviet T-34 tank in 1941. Hitler demanded a revolutionary tank that could smash Soviet armor from a safe distance, and they got it. Its frontal armor was 100 millimeters thick, and its long-barreled 80mm cannon could punch through the front plate of a Sherman or a T-34 from over 2,000 yards away. But here's the fatal flaw: the cost. Producing one Tiger tank required roughly 3,000 man-hours and staggering amounts of high-quality steel and copper. To put that into perspective, for the cost of just one Tiger I, you could build 4 simpler, mass-produced assault guns like the StuGs. As historian R.L. DiNardo noted, the Tiger created a tactical advantage but a strategic drain, tying up factories and rare materials desperately needed for volume production. So if you were the head of armaments, what would you choose? One perfect tank, or 4 effective, reliable tanks? In a war of attrition, could Germany truly afford perfection? The Allies and Soviets quickly realized that quantity was the only answer to the Tiger's quality. For the Soviets, the counter-strategy often relied on their existing T-34s and sheer numbers. They learned that while the Tiger was nearly invulnerable from the front, its side and rear armor were much softer. The goal became to swarm the Tiger, forcing it to turn and expose its vulnerable flanks. The Western Allies, particularly the Americans, had a similar approach. They formed specialized Tiger hunting parties, crews who focused on flanking maneuvers. Sherman tank crews developed a tactic known as the flank attack. Sometimes the Sherman Firefly, a variant with the powerful British 17-pounder gun, was used as a dedicated counter-sniper. The strategic reality was brutal. When a Tiger appeared on the battlefield, it was often met by 3 to 5 Allied tanks, artillery, and close air support. For every single Tiger built by the end of the war, the Allies produced approximately 50 T-34s and Shermans. The numbers alone made the so-called unbeatable Tiger an unsustainable liability. So was the Tiger's existence more of a psychological boost for German troops, or did it become a strategic planning focus that helped the Allies win? The real drama of the Tiger tank often unfolded not on the front line, but on the muddy roads and railheads far behind the fighting. Its sheer size was its doom. At 57 tons, the Tiger was a logistical nightmare. Its weight stressed its complex suspension, transmission, and engine to the breaking point. The Maybach engine was technically underpowered for the massive chassis, leading to frequent overheating and transmission failures. A captured German manual even noted that the complex overlapping road wheels, designed to distribute the tank's weight, were prone to freezing solid in the Russian mud and winter ice, completely immobilizing the vehicle. Then there was the transport dilemma. The Tiger was so wide it couldn't be moved on standard German rail cars without a major operation. Crews had to swap its wide combat tracks for narrower transport tracks, a process that took hours of work every single time the tank needed to move by rail. And if a road bridge wasn't reinforced, the Tiger simply couldn't cross it, forcing massive detours. You have to wonder, how much faster would the Allied advance have been if German tanks were built for reliability instead of sheer armor thickness? The unbeatable legend really starts to collapse when you look at the maintenance hours required. The Tiger needed a dedicated, highly trained support system just to keep it moving. For every single hour the Tiger spent in combat, It required up to 10 hours of maintenance. Its complex engine was fragile, and transmission failures were common due to the immense stress the weight placed on the gearbox. This created a major tactical vulnerability. The Tiger's massive profile and slow speed made it an easy target once it was spotted. Allied crews knew that if they could maneuver to the Tiger's flank, even their smaller guns had a chance. The most common tactic was to target the drive sprockets and tracks to immobilize the beast, then call in artillery or flanking fire to finish the job. Captured German tank crews revealed a surprising truth. Their fear of a mechanical breakdown was often greater than their fear of facing Allied tanks. Breaking down in the field often meant losing the tank permanently. Considering this 10-to-1 maintenance ratio, was the Tiger tank a valuable military asset, or was it a liability that wasted crucial German manpower? Ultimately, the biggest failure of the Tiger was not tactical, but one of strategic resource allocation. The sheer investment in this one tank hurt the entire German war effort. Only 347 Tiger WWII tanks were ever built during the entire war. At its peak, the total number of operational Tigers on all fronts at any given time rarely exceeded 300. This tiny number was far too small to influence the tide of mass offensives like the Battle of Kursk or the Normandy landings. Military analysts have shown that if the resources poured into the Tiger program had instead been used to mass-produce the Panther tank, which was faster, more reliable, and still had excellent armor and firepower, Germany could have fielded tens of thousands more capable vehicles. The Tiger was a classic example of over-engineering. It was a focus on maximizing a single unit's capability at the expense of strategic volume and reliability. Its late introduction and low numbers meant that its tactical successes were meaningless against the overwhelming Allied momentum. Does the history of the Tiger prove that in modern total warfare, strategic efficiency will always be more crucial than individual tactical superiority? For the men inside the Tiger, the legend was a mixed blessing that often carried a heavy psychological weight. Tiger crews were considered elite soldiers, and they enjoyed better morale and priority status. However, this high status came with the constant anxiety of the tank's fragility. The most common human story surrounding the Tiger was the anguish of abandonment. Because of its massive weight and the lack of reliable recovery vehicles, a Tiger with a simple engine failure or a stuck track often had to be destroyed by its own crew to prevent it from being captured. The diary entries of German tank commanders often expressed this deep frustration. One wrote, "Engine failure today near the woods. The repair team couldn't reach us. We set charges and watched our beautiful machine burn. It was heartbreak for a broken transmission." This disparity between the propaganda and the crew's reality was a constant burden. How heavy is the psychological toll when you know a simple mechanical breakdown will force you to destroy your own elite machine? So let's consider a what-if scenario. What if German industrial policy had been governed by pragmatic logistics instead of Hitler's obsession with prestige weapons? Imagine if Germany had standardized its tank designs in 1942, focusing resources solely on the reliable and powerful Panther and the cheap, effective StuG assault gun. Military historians argue that a high volume of Panthers could have better absorbed Soviet shock attacks and provided a much more flexible defense than the scattered, fragile Tigers. What if the resources used for specialized Tiger components were instead used to build more fuel tankers, recovery vehicles, and to maintain railway lines? The entire Eastern Front's defensive capacity would have increased exponentially. Logistics, not armor, was Germany's missing link. If Germany had prioritized reliability and volume over armor and gun size, do you believe they could have stalled the Allied advance long enough to force a negotiated peace? In the end, the Tiger tank was indeed a tactical marvel, a testament to German engineering, and a dangerous opponent that earned its formidable reputation. But it was not unbeatable. It was defeated by a combination of logistical failure, mechanical complexity, and overwhelming numbers. The Tiger was a powerful symbol, but it failed the cold, hard test of industrialized total warfare. It was a tactical victory that became a strategic and financial defeat. Which tank do you think truly ruled the battlefield in the end? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And don't forget to subscribe to Verified WWII Stories for more historical investigations. Thanks for watching.